All right. Welcome back. I'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, welcome back to What's That Noise? We're in the building on Tuesday night. Joe's got me wired up with a little lav mic today, so I don't have the big burrito in my face. So it feels kind of weird, but I don't know how it sounds. You tell me. It probably sounds different. We're back at it. Tuesday, we're going to pick up where we left off. If you were with us last week, you saw us mixing a demo of a tune that I wrote a little while back. First tune I wrote in a while, called When the Medicine Runs Out. We're going to continue on that tonight. We didn't quite get done last time. We didn't get to vocals. It's just, there's more general stuff to do. We didn't get to the guitar solo, a bunch of vocals. I'm thinking about a snare sample. We talked about putting one of those in there last week. I might still give that a spin. But yeah, so we're going to jump back into it. Glad to, I see, here we go, Diane and Brandy in the chat as usual. Good to see y'all. Thanks for coming back in and hanging. Joe's swearing. Very unprofessional. We hate this already?
Yeah, it's just, I hear everything, bro. Your shirt, okay. The whole deal.
We hate the lav mic already.
I think we just got to get to I got a couple other mics we can try as we keep going, but let's, for tonight, get back on
the real deal. So, I need that end. The gold end is right there.
Yep, all after you make the switch. So we're going to go mute for a sec, people.
Yep, sorry.
Brad, why don't you talk?
Huh. Yeah, we're going straight to the button. Nice work on the mic, Joe. That works.
Yeah, nothing like giving it a real try, Joe.
Super gain back. Basically freaking all the way up. Yo. Yeah. All right. So never mind. If you didn't like the way the lav sound, don't worry about it because it's already gone. I'm going to turn it off. I got a rocket in my pocket.
What?
Wireless rocket. Let's just get it out of here. It's this thing. Let's just take it all off.
It wasn't bad, man. Just like the ambience is too much.
I'm wearing a wire. Has anyone watched Ray Donovan?
Oh, dude.
When Smitty starts wearing that wire,
yeah.
That's a heartbreaker.
Man. Have you watched City on a Hill yet, since you're into all that?
Not hip to it.
Bro.
All right, I'll have to get into it.
Get on the Showtime shows. All
right, so we're back on the burrito. We tried something new. It failed. It was not a Sennheiser product. It was an inferior product.
This was also not planned. It may have seemed planned.
Yeah, we just figured we'd give it a shot so I didn't have to have this big thing in my...
I just didn't like... You'll hear it when you watch it back, and you can tell me what you think.
I got it.
Too much rustling and whatever.
Yeah, we don't want to be rustling and bustling.
Come on, with the people.
So what's going on with the people out there? I'll tell you what's going on here. It finally got nice out in Minneapolis. We had a couple sunshiny days. We actually have the windows open in the studio right now, letting a little fresh air in here, which is kind of nice. And, just been chipping away. Been busy in the studio, working on a few different things. Had a lovely FaceTime hang with Mr. John Fields today. Called me up. Had some questions. He had some video questions, which I couldn't answer because Joe knows the video stuff. But good to talk to John anyway.
Hit me up, John.
Yeah, I told him I might have to plug you guys in. I was like, you're welcome, and I'm sorry.
More I'm sorry.
Basically,
but also,
yeah. But
you're welcome.
Good to see John. He's back in the studio finally. He's been laying low during COVID. He's kind of getting back in the groove, and he built himself a little home studio. And I guess big props to Joe, because when John Fields calls asking how we're doing stuff, we must be doing something right, because John's usually out in front of everything all the time, always, kind of. That's his gig. But yeah. So, talked to him today. That was cool. Talked to Jonah today. We got some plans cooking up. Should be interesting. We'll see how that runs, how that rolls. Yeah, just doing the thing. Been, chipping away, making records like we do. What about you two? What are you guys up to? Anything special? I know Joe had a hard weekend. We probably don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's all good, but I did get sunburned this weekend, too, so that was tight.
Yeah, I got a little on the nose.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Felt good. It's finally starting to turn into that nice tan more than red, so.
Not peeling?
I'll take it. No.
Nice.
Just flaking out all over your forehead.
Remember how he said he has nicer skin than anybody else in the room
he's
earlier?
the young buck. He's rubbing it in today. Ooh, I'm young. I got nice skin.
I use shea butter.
Yeah.
Holler.
Yeah, we were all young and cute once.
Were you, though?
Well, it's in the eye of the beholder. What'd you do this weekend, Brad? Anything good?
I got outside. That was kind of the main goal.
That's big. That's big after a long, cold winter.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It was real nice. Even yesterday after work, got out in the woods a little bit, and it was still. Somebody's got to do it.
Did you find
man.
any porno under a log? There's always porn out in the woods for some reason. I don't
Which
know.
woods are you going to?
Well, yeah. Why do you ask? Man? Trying to find that copy of Easy Rider magazine from 1984.
Bro, I got a collection.
Yeah, it was 80 degrees and sunny at 7:30 last night. So
Yeah, it was.
that was a nice change.
Yeah, man. I had Brett Petrusek over. We were doing a little garage guitar refinishing work last night.
Oh yeah, saw the spray paint.
Kind of fun. Joe thinks fax machines are ancient. He doesn't even know what that is.
I remember those, maybe. It's
It
funny,
goes in Back
man.
to the Future, right?
It's funny, man. I'm like tech nerdy enough to remember like the internet and everything becoming a thing and cell phones becoming a thing. But I was I was on the internet at like 7. You know what I mean?
Right.
When people still weren't on the internet. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, all of that.
Do you have AOL?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You like go to Target and get that like 500 free
Yeah, I
hours.
get all those discs, and then you remember when those things were hot, and then all of a sudden they just started showing up in the mail, and it was like AOL's free, bro.
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
just got it.
Yeah, AOL.
Yeah, I used to make a label fax me the SoundScan report for a band
yeah?
every week,
Oh.
Wow.
and I would have to like go to Office Max and pick it
I
up.
was gonna say, where were you getting it faxed to? man?
Yeah.
You had a fax machine?
No,
You had
I
an
didn't have a
Office
fax
Max,
machine.
right?
Cover sheet.
Yeah, I needed the cover sheet. You could usually get away with like the half cover sheet,
Ooh.
so you save like a buck or so on the total price of the fax.
Nice. Yeah. Got to get that savings.
Dude, what are we working on this week?
We're going to work on this demo again when the medicine runs out. That's what we worked on last week. We
Right.
got about maybe 2/3 of the way done. Didn't get to vocals yet. We're gonna kind of just probably drop back in progress. I mean, I could run it down instrumentally maybe before we start, but we'll probably just pick it back up once we get rolling. But
Yeah, I was curious. We do have Brad's burner to hit.
we got Brad's
right?
burner coming in hot. Me and Brad are going down to Iowa this weekend with the Fuzzard Boys. We're going to mix a song at Catamount Studios because they were kind enough to offer us the studio for a day. So we're going to go down there and jump on a big old SSL console. It's been quite a while since I've done any work on an SSL, so hopefully the house guy wants to hang out all day because we're going to need him all day. He knows that, though, so it should be cool. But looking forward to it. It looks like a really beautiful studio
Dude,
down
I'm looking
in,
at the pictures right now. Insane.
Catamount?
Yeah.
Yeah, should be cool. You know, I'm looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, Stone Sour actually did their first record there.
Oh yeah, you were telling me, like, and that was kind of their breakout record, right?
Yeah, it was a debut record. Like after Slipknot, was already like really hitting, and they wanted to do the Stone Sour thing. They made that first record there for like $8,000, and then it went gold and had 2 Grammy nominations.
Nice
so
return on that.
return on
$8,000
investment was good.
Very well done, Corey Taylor and company. Yeah, man. Well, since you're already chatting back there, Brad, talk to me. What's on the burner tonight?
Ooh, I'm kind of liking the burner, but I'm also kind of thinking maybe it should just be called "What's That News?"
Ooh, I haven't
I
heard
don't
that
know,
yet,
man.
but I like that.
I don't know.
We need a bumper for that immediately.
I,
What's that news with Brad Gunnarsson? Brad's burner was cool and all, but I think that might be the new winner.
it's a little more legit. If we're gonna go legit,
Is that, you
I don't
come
know
up
if we
with
need
that
to.
all by
I don't know
yourself?
if we need to have a burner.
You come up with that all by yourself, Brad? Or
I
someone-
did.
Oh,
This is what happens when you spend all of your free time in your apartment alone.
I got it. I totally got it. All right. Well, what's that news, Brad?
Nothing too crazy. For new releases, nothing that I picked up last week,
Really?
but coming
Rare.
out this week, yeah, very rare actually. I don't know how much you guys really know about like what's going on with it, but the first of the Taylor Swift re-releases comes out for Fearless.
I got a bone to pick with Taylor.
No, what?
So, her new album cover is Perner's book cover.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah, totally is.
You should see it back to back if you haven't. Like, I don't know if it's possible that she saw it, but the image is the same, dude. Like, it's like, is that really just parallel thinking? I don't know if anyone else. I'm sure Diane and Brandy may have noticed that, but check it out. Check out Taylor's album cover And then check
It's
out
for
the Loud
Evermore.
Fast Words.
Evermore is it the
I believe
newest
so.
of the
Yeah.
the newest of those two.
I believe so. Yeah, it was kind of like, what? Anyway, back to what's that news?
Back to you, Brad. But yeah, that the funny thing I think, like with this whole story of her records and her re-records she's doing, that Scooter or whatever his name is, like acquired all her masters and won't sell them back to her, even for the pile of money she's willing to hand over. But she's able to re-record the songs. So
sorry, go ahead.
So the first one that came out was Love Story, and it is identical, which I thought was brilliant because it just basically deems the old masters useless, for what he's trying to use them for anyways. So, oh yeah, Jeremy's pulling up. that
Yeah,
album
I'm gonna get them both in the tabs here because I know Brad hasn't seen this, and I'll just blow it up on the stream too.
I'm not. I'll put it up on the screen when we come to it.
So there's Perner's
Yeah,
book
dude.
cover,
Yeah, it's like she borrowed his jacket.
and there's her new album cover.
Oh, I
Like,
mean,
it's just kind of, I mean, whatever, but also like,
hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me show the people here.
yeah. So there's Miss Taylor, no dreadlocks, and then there's Mr. Perner. I guess it's a small image, or maybe get a little bit bigger image there, but it's like, come on now. Come on now. We all know who was here first. And Taylor's penned a nice song or two, but come on now. I'm just saying, you got to give Diamond Dave credit. Anyway,
We'll get the lawyers on the horn.
I mean, or maybe it's just a way for me to meet Taylor Swift. So it's cool. We can work something out.
Yeah, I mean, if she wants to pay that way, I'm cool with it.
Whoa. All right. It's getting hot on the burner tonight.
Couple fun album anniversaries this week. Far Tin Cans with Strings to You
I know
turned
those guys.
25.
Yep.
So Jonah gets a lot of love on this show here, and that was the first Far record I ever heard,
25.
or that was the
That's
first
amazing. Yep.
Love American Style, I believe
Right.
was the first song,
Right.
which was the jam off of that record. The Casket Lottery, Moving Mountains, 21 years. Super cool band. Still making new music. Just put out a new record last year. Really good. And a studio favorite here, the self-titled Paramore record, turned 8 years old.
We love that Paramore around here.
Yeah.
Yep. 8 years old?
8 years old, yeah, for self-titled.
Okay.
Which, I mean, After Laughter might be like the true best record, but that self-titled might be my favorite. The one right before. Jeremy's looking up something. I'm curious.
I'm just checking
I'm
out
curious what
celebrity
he's got.
birthdays since
I-
we're like doing all this.
I definitely hit this site every once in a while.
I mean, so far not that into any of it. Yeah, Paul Rudd's 52 today.
Candace Cameron?
Candace Cameron from Full House, she's 45 today. Candace is older than me.
Yeah.
God bless her. Let's see, anyone else? Cool. You can keep going, Brad. I'm just seeing if
I
there's anyone
think,
worth talking
Joe,
about
if you want to maybe pull up that image I sent you
Here we
earlier.
go.
You got images, eh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, usually when Joe and I are sending images, it's a little sketchy, but
Real hot on the burner tonight.
Wrong image. Thank God.
I see that image.
I don't know if you remember this. This actually just surfaced on Twitter recently. Spitalfield farewell tour with Attention, The
remember.
Forecast, and The Graduate at the Grog Shop in Cleveland.
Yep. I love the Grog. Played there many times in many bands over the years. And
Those
always,
are,
always a great show.
It's a fucking bill right there.
Right?
For teenage Joe
Yeah.
or whatever. Like whoa.
Shit for mid-40s
Yeah.
Brad. That's
I mean,
I mean,
We're bringing the heat. That was a fun. That was
I
that was
love
a really
the
fun tour.
Forecast.
oh, I
Great
listen. I
band.
still listen to The Forecast all the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
all the
Forecast is
time.
awesome. Yep.
I dug
Forecast
out
is awesome.
I dug out the tour itinerary from
From
from that tour.
Whoa!
So
That's why Brad makes those big bucks.
I bookmarked a couple pages here because I wanted to pull up the
this is
itinerary.
your life, JT.
The itinerary for that day, Saturday, December 1st.
Wow. Winter tour in the van with
yeah.
a trailer. Sketchy.
All ages show, 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
$10 in advance, 12 at the door.
Great deal.
$100 guarantee for Attention. Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Probably
everyone
covered
wants to
the
know
Taco
about
Bell.
the glamour of the road. There you go, $100 guarantee.
Yep. The
Happy
The
to get
whole
it too.
band,
Happy
by
to
the
get it.
way.
Yeah.
Not per.
Yeah, right.
No.
The nice thing was the next show was in Erie, Pennsylvania, only 97 miles away.
Very
So-
nice.
I love those northeast runs because everything's like, oh, we only got
That's
hour
true.
and a half today?
That's true. The West Coast is not like that. It's like, cool. Next show is 7 hours away. Let's go. You know.
And the funny thing about these old tour itineraries that I have, I even still make these for my bands when they hit the road, but not quite the same as I used to
Got
because
maps in there.
every date has printout of
Map
Yahoo
Quest.
Maps.
Yeah, that was
Like
like
from
before.
the last
we
place
had
to-
Yeah,
yeah,
from one venue
we
to
probably
the
had
next.
early iPhones, but like no maps or whatever. You know,
Right.
Well, and remember how bad maps were on the early
No, I
phones?
can't
Dude, they'll send you
remember
to the
anymore.
wrong damn state.
Right.
Yeah, you'd
especially
show up
like
at a
when
weird
Apple
spot.
first launched
Oh,
their
Apple Maps
their
was
maps. It
terrible
was
for a
like
long
really
time.
bad. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a nice little blast from the past I saw on Twitter not that long ago. Thought you might get a kick out of that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Only
tell
a-
us
oh,
about
what-
how
what?
you spilled your chips everywhere.
I'll tell you how Joe spilled my chips earlier.
There's some discrepancies. Dude, so for those watching, I leave the studio for 2 minutes and like someone spilled chips and no one is quite like there's some conflicting stories. There was only 2 people down here and their stories are not adding up. So we're gonna start putting wireless mics on everybody. I'm gonna have to run some security cameras down here because Brad's chips ended up on the floor. And
Why would I waste a chip?
yeah, Brad's
You've known me. You've known me long enough.
Brad's not one to waste chip, Now, if there was Funyuns on the floor, there would be no problem determining exactly what happened.
But there is not.
But there is not. So we're gonna
What were we talking about?
nothing so far.
Right,
Yeah.
just checking.
So yeah, interesting. So interesting to get a little the Attention tour book. That's cool. The first, if you were here pre-intro tonight during the countdown clock, you heard a song called "Through the Wire," which is the title track on the Attention record, "Through the Wire." First song on the record, last song written. I believe on that record, that's the only track that's just I'm playing everything. I believe Eric played on most everything else, or probably everything else, and Dave and Bob played on a bunch of that stuff, but that one was kind of one. I think I talked about this on the stream once before. Evan Bakke, who was on an episode, if you haven't seen that one, go back and watch Evan's now at the Power Station New England, but Evan co-produced and engineered that record with me, and while he was working downstairs, this is at the old studio, he was working downstairs in the main studio editing and mixing, doing something, I forget, and I went upstairs. There was kind of a little secondary room that was always different. Sometimes it was storage and gear. Sometimes it was kind of like a lounge. For a while, we kind of had a second little editing kind of mini rig, Studio B up there. At that time, we had a little Pro Tools rig and a couple things, a guitar pod, and just a handful of things up there. And while Evan was working downstairs, I ended up kind of out of nowhere. We were talking about this last week. Like sometimes a song just kind of drops in out of nowhere, and if you're smart, you drop everything and try to catch that thing before you lose it. That's what I did that day, and I wrote that song "Through the Wire" that you heard in, I don't know, probably an hour while Evan was working, and I came downstairs with a thumb drive and was like, "Yo, plug this in," and I had played a little demo through the pod, a couple guitars. I think we had like maybe a Reason drum beat or something in there, and I had written the lyrics. I think I even set up this little skinny DBX mic preamp down here and did a scratch vocal and the whole thing while while Evan was working. And he was like, "Dude, this is awesome. Let's start working on it." And then we dropped whatever we were doing and kind of started to record that song, and quickly became, sometimes the newest song is your favorite song, so who knows, but it became kind of my favorite tune on the record. I think to this day it's still Brad's favorite tune on that record, if I recall correctly.
I think if I remember correctly, it might be the favorite in the entire catalog.
Ooh, is that right? Well, there you go. So yeah, and again, that was one of those, like, I don't know, I just kind of went upstairs and started working on something. I got inspired. I also remember specifically, so that day I wrote all of Through the Wire, music and lyrics, and then I think I stopped working on that, and before I showed that to Evan, he was still busy doing something else. I then wrote all the lyrics, all the verse lyrics to the song Your Heart that day too. It was like big day, you know. All of a sudden I went from being stuck on one song to having a brand new song and completely finished the song I was stuck on. And I still am really stoked on the verse lyrics of that song. I think it paints a pretty solid picture. I don't know. I like how it ended up. So.
And that's a really good 1-2 punch on the start of that album,
And
too.
that's how it ends up on their record, right?
Yep.
1 and 2. Yep.
Yeah, and you know, funny, Your Heart is probably one of my favorite Attention tracks.
Nice.
Topped it like all around. I love that song. Great lyrics. Mostly is why I like that song. Clever.
We played Your Heart last week, correct?
Yep.
So
And
if you-
Perfectly Clear Skies,
Right.
which is probably my other favorite from
Right.
that
So we
record.
played 2 songs off that Through the Wire record last week. Today we played Through the Wire, the title track, the first song. And again, I said it last week. I'll say it again this week for new people or people that missed it. All that stuff is on Bandcamp, attention.bandcamp.com. It's all up there for free. Check it out if you want. I highly recommend the last 2 records, or the top 2. It starts with Tattered Youth, which was our final record, and if you scroll down past that, you'll see a couple other ones. Through the Wire was the album before that. I feel like those 2 last albums, they're very different sonically and kind of song-wise and intent-wise and everything, but I think that the band was really kind of fortified as far as like the sound and the vibe. I think we kind of pretty close to knew what we were doing at that point. So I don't know, worth a listen if you want to go back and hear the songs I was writing and singing 10 and 15 years ago now, or whatever it was. Still real proud of that stuff. I listened to a little bit of it today, actually. I was outside doing some stuff, and I threw my headphones on, and I was listening to a podcast, and I got bored with that, and I found myself like, you know what? I went to the Bandcamp page and just listened to, 6 songs off of the Attention catalog. Kind of fun. Sometimes I like to walk down old memory lane. Not often, but sometimes. So today I did that. Yeah, and then that loops us back to this one. So I mentioned before, Attention, that band from back then, has been chipping away at recording an old song for fun again now, however many years later. And we've been over at Flowers the last couple of Wednesdays in a row, just chipping away. We do a little evening session over there, 7 to 10, whatever. We did drums and basics the first night. We did a couple days of me and Chris laying down guitars over the last 2 Wednesdays. Tomorrow we're going to go back over there, and Jeremy Burgo is going to come put a new bass track down, and then I got some vocals to do, and then we're going to mix that one. I think that we're going to mix that one on the stream and maybe have Chris Johnson, maybe come over here, because he's also an engineer. He's the head engineer and studio manager over at Flowers now. And it's really, I think it's always interesting to see how someone else does things, because it's just, while there will be similarities, there will be differences. There will be things that I'll be like, oh shit, I've never thought of that. I want to do that. Or like, I don't know about that, dude. Maybe you should, maybe we can both learn something from each other. But, he gets to kind of, if he wants, gets to watch us on the stream and kind of see what I'm doing. But I don't really get to see what he's doing. So it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll just let him mix it, but he'll have to mix it over here on my rig and use my plugins. So that will force him to kind of call some audibles. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But one way or another, we have been catching footage of us over at Flowers each and every week, and we're going to put a little something together for the stream. I'd like to maybe put like a little documentary or just a little mini something together that kind of tells the story of Attention, because, I don't know, it was a weird band. It lasted a long time. This is definitely not to sound braggy, because ultimately we really didn't get anywhere. But at the same time, we did a lot of shit for a band that was totally independent the whole time, that outside of Brad had no help, no label, no financial love. We figured out how to pay for things and go to LA and make a record and make our own records. And we went to Japan and we went to Europe, and we did a lot of touring as an unsigned band, which is pretty unheard of. Definitely now, but even then, to be able to say like, yeah, we've toured Europe and Japan, like all the rest of our friends who are in bands around here were like, how the fuck did you do that? We lucked into a bunch of stuff. So, like I said, while we ultimately didn't get anywhere, we kind of did a ton of shit too. So whatever. We're going to show you more about that for sure. But I guess what we'll do is I'm probably going to just dive back in, just because I haven't opened this since last week. I think what I will do is the vocals are still off. We'll just leave them off. I think I am just going to play this thing down top to bottom without the vocals, just as an instrumental track, refamiliarize with what I've done and what I haven't done, and just then I'll be able to dive back in, because I'm sure as I'm listening to this, I'll hear something I want to do to it. So we're going to listen down. This one's called When the Medicine Runs Out. It's a demo that I wrote and recorded recently after Dave from Attention basically was like, hey, you should write a new song. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay, let me see. Let me see if I can. And this is what I came up with. So we'll get some vocals back in here soon, but in the meantime, I'm going to run it down. You can familiarize again. So can I. Check it out. Cut it short because I'm looking at the chat. We got some joiners in the chat. We got Gordon. Gordon's from Newcastle, way across the pond. I met Gordon on the Gratitude tours. He was kind enough to throw us one of our probably favorite shows of all time. We played a place called Trillions in Newcastle. I'll never forget it. Gordon was a great dude. I don't know, just one of those. You meet a lot of people on the road. You remember some, you don't remember some, just because of the nature of the beast, and I'll never forget Gordon. It's awesome to see you in the chat, man. I hope all is well. I hope I get to see you soon. We were talking about I'm maybe going to be going across the pond this year. We're working on it. I don't know. Can't say much. Not going to say anymore. Andy Gruen and I like to just kind of just put a little
Every week it's like, here's a whole splurge. Wait, I'm not supposed to say that.
And then Andy Gruen, and you're right, I kind of stopped because I started tweaking and I stopped, but Andy Gruen was noticed right away that I started throwing a little mid-range at the bass, and he was like, hey, man, more of that. And I agree. I want to get that thing to cut a little more. And I also, I just like everyone, just like you guys watching me right now, I watch YouTube and look for shit like this all the time. I'm a student as well, and there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. I'm going to just go on a quick tangent, too. There's a lot, especially in this field of recording and mixing, there's a shocking amount of bullshit on YouTube.
Oh, dude, and
We've
like
been me and you have
Instagram
talked
and
about it,
like all of this
It
shit.
kind of, I mean,
bugs me.
It is what it is. It kind of bugs me, too. So there's a lot of dudes out there with a ton of viewers, frankly, who have never made a real record, as far as I can tell, and have never really done, for lack of a better way to say it, a fucking thing. And they're telling you how to make records. It's like, I mean, YouTube is an amazing resource, and it will also put you in the weeds quick, man. Like, be careful who you listen to. If someone seems like a buster to you, they probably are. And if a bunch of people turn the shit off here right now, I guess I'm one of those cats myself.
Yo, we just went to 0 viewers.
Yeah. Oh, and all right. Well, good night, everybody. Yeah, man, there's a couple people in particular that have giant YouTube channels, and I watch their videos because they're recommended to me, because I watch recording and mixing videos constantly. Like I said, I'm still very much a student, and there's a lot of great info out there, but man, there are some cats out there that I'm just, clowns. It pisses me off.
Busters.
Yeah.
But that said, there's a lot of good stuff on there. And there's another
Like
thing.
this channel, Holland.
Yeah, well, there's the best stuff, the top tier, What's That Noise style stuff, and then there's the rest, kind of.
Dude, have you seen T-Pain's streams?
No.
He's been doing a lot more on Instagram Live lately
Okay.
and stuff. But dude, he's hip to it in like a lot of music business stuff too. It's not necessarily just mixing, but he'll be in the studio or whatever and do a lot of live sessions. But man,
Mingy coming with the clown emoji. Mingy knows exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Mingy's one of those non-clowns in town who knows how to make records, and he's got the...
how many viewers you got, Maggie?
He's not really worried about that. He's got the nicest outboard collection in town, I'll tell you that right now. And there's another thing that I've noticed, and I'm actually about to try one of those tips, but it's funny how this works, and I'll break it down. There's a thing called Mix with the Masters that you have to subscribe to, and that is legit. There's a couple different levels. Like, you can literally go to the south of France and do like a week-long intensive with a Chris Lord-Alge or a Andy Wallace or a Steve Albini. Big money, and whatever. Evan did one. Evan did one with Michael Brower. Yeah, he flew over there and went and sat with Brower and learned how to do the thing. So, and then if you do that, you get like basically a login and a password to this website where you can watch videos of all kinds of dudes doing stuff. Evan was kind enough to share that with me for a while he had it, so I got to watch a bunch of them. Another thing I've noticed on YouTube is so you don't have to go to the south of France. You can just subscribe to the website, whatever it is, $20 a month or something, and you can watch an endless amount of videos. So there's a bunch of dudes who just watch Mix with the Masters and go like, oh, that's cool. And then they make a YouTube video that's like, it's the Andy Wallace kick drum trick or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So, but that said, I literally just saw a dude talking about something that Andy Wallace does to bass. And I've never tried it. It seems weird. I'm going to try it. So he would obviously be using all analog equipment. He'd be using a real SSL. But what he does, and there's the guy that explains this on YouTube, just does it with plugins, because he, like me, does not have an SSL and a Neve and kind of all of the good stuff at his disposal. But I'm going to try it. So what he does is he takes a Neve, just like this one. He takes the bottom band and turns it to 35 and does this all the way up. And then he goes into his SSL and shapes it from there. So I'm going to start by taking whatever bottom end I had out. I got a little bit of filtering on there, but basically like he boosts the shit out of the bottom with the Neve, and then he goes into the SSL and kind of trims the fat. And I don't know, let's just see what happens here. So first I'll do this. And actually I'm going to go back to where I had that, and we're going to solo the bass and just see. So this is without that Neve channel. This is just kind of where I had it, and I am going to add some of that mid-range Mr. Gruen. I said I was going to solo it, so let me do that. So that's where I was. So let's do this. The Neve thing, back in, 35, dimed. I won't tweak this yet, but we're going to start tweaking this right away. But let's just hear what that does. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it, and then we will start to reshape. That adds some weight. So here, we'll do a little quick bypass on that Sheps. I'll tell you what, I don't hate it right off the top. I mean, it's big and bottomy. So now that we have all that extra bottom, we're probably going to go through and clean up a little bit of this. I'm going to bring this probably up just a little bit. I'm going to stay like somewhere in the 20 to 30 range. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe a low E on a bass is like 41, something down. It's pretty far down there. I'm going to bypass both of these. Kind of puts it through a cabinet. Kind of gives it the beef. What's Mingy saying? Mixed with the Masters is pure gold. However, I asked him why they dogged Manny, and no reply. That is interesting. I saw Manny interviewing somebody on Mixed with the Masters. He was a part of it at some point, right? Charles Hayes, where am I? I'm in my basement in Bloomington, my friend. Now there's so much bottom in the bass, like the kick drum got kind of dwarfed again, but I don't hate all that bottom, you know. Also got quite a bit of level, so we'll probably trim them up a little. Start giving those toms some love sooner than later, but bass is kind of cool. I've been talking about a snare sample forever. I still don't. I always try to avoid it. I think I'm gonna put one on there just to see. We don't have to keep it. It's something I've never done on the stream. Some people might not be hip to what and how that works, so we'll do it. I duplicate the snare top. I don't really need any of this stuff. We'll leave the group assignments. I don't need sends. I don't need the inserts. I don't want any of this stuff. I just want kind of the snare drum again. So now I have the snare drum again.
Hold on. Go to your other window.
Oh, I forgot to grab that, but that's all right. We can just do this. Copy it. And now we have a... That's fine. Don't care. Don't want any automation on this. Let's go ahead and just kill any that would be on there. So now we have just a duplicate of the snare drum, and then there's a thousand different ways, maybe not 1,000, but there's a handful of different ways to do it. Down and dirty way to do it is to use a thing called trigger. I usually don't leave trigger running. I kind of find something I like and commit it. usually, and then sometimes you actually go in and slide it around a little bit, especially when I'm running a bunch of plugins. Sometimes like just seems like it's latent or a little bit funky. So, but yeah, so we'll just kind of go through. I hate that Slate has Slate Digital and then like separate categories or whatever. Like screw that. Tighten it up, Steven. So yeah, so when we throw this thing called trigger on here, and there it is. And I have kind of like a pre-cooked. This kind of just loads up a handful of different things. Wonder why that slot's empty. Didn't used to be. That's all right. We don't care. So we're going to solo up our now duplicated track with trigger on it. So I have my choice. Like I said, this is kind of a preset folder that I made. It's got, looks like 5 different options in there. I'm going to just scroll through the 5 samples that are in here. Real tight and dry. This is going to be like a room mic version of that. Let's turn it down. Ambient version. NRG room mic. These are literally just, I have a bunch of samples. I think these are all just chosen from Slate stuff. Nice and dry. So then, you take your real snare top, turn it on, and then I just start auditioning these and see if I like how one, if one helps me out. So that, my live snare is pretty low. So now I kind of have essentially a artificial snare drum that just fires along with the real snare drum. So let's unsolo this stuff. I'll mute the sample, and then we'll bring the sample in, and I'll just get rid of this for now. We'll kind of bring the sample in and see if we feel like it's helping. There's still automation on this, even though I thought I cleared it out. So we go back to volume. There's one breakpoint way at the beginning. Screw you. Here we go. Got a lot of that kitchen mic rolling right now. I'm going to get these guitars back in here. It's like I want to hate. I want to be like, nah, dude, I never use samples, but
Sounds better.
that helps.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about this last week. This was a demo. I recorded it real quick. I literally just I opened up the drum mics. I went back there, played the drums for a minute. Okay, nothing's peaking. I got level. Cool. That's how much time I spent on the drum tones. So, hey, we'll throw a sample on there. And again, I could commit that. I might, just because, again, when we got the stream and the stream mics, and there's kind of a lot of stuff going on. So we'll quickly commit that. We can keep this here, so if we want to go back, we can, but I'm going to commit up to this insert. I could freeze it too, but I'm going to commit it because then I can actually look at it. Sometimes I like to look at the live snare with the now printed sample because you can sometimes see a little drift, So quick commit of this, stand by.
You check all.
I usually just turn it off. I usually don't want to hear any sensitivity out of the sample. I usually just let it buck.
No, I mean for the trigger itself, so you don't get misfires and stuff.
Oh, it should be kind of. I have it pre-dialed with that preset. It may not be perfect for sure. If we hear a misfire or something, we'll take a look. So far, it's looking pretty good. So we got it committed. We're going to just go ahead and hide and make inactive that guy. We can bring him back, change the sample, do anything we want to do. And then we just tab to transient. I'll go to like not the first hit. Not bad, you know. Is it maybe just a tick behind? Maybe, you know. We could throw it in slip mode. Let me make these bigger just so I can really see what's happening here. I'm going to say it did drift just a hair behind. So let me just even crank this up just a little bit. Let me see.
A little bit though, huh? That's better. Looks better.
I'm going to go with that. I brought it up, I don't know, very, very small amount. Hey, Alan, I watched your Paramore video today. Speaking of Paramore, you're killing it too, my friend. We might have to play some rock together sometime now. We'll have to figure that out if there's ever rock to be played again. So, yeah, we were talking about this last week, too. Like, in the verses, the snare felt pretty good. In the choruses, it was getting beat up just a taste. I'm going to say for my intro, I probably, like, right now, it sounds like that snare is like slap. That Baroom guitar. I might just kill him for the intro so when he comes in on the first chorus, the snare drum blows up a little bit. Might even bring him in right for that flam. Flam rest. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Ooh-wee. Look at that flam. So that's interesting. This hit is this hit's looking pretty good. But then we get to this flam. This is interesting.
And that one is early
Way
small.
out front. Way out
Early
front.
small thing.
Yeah, which is very strange.
So
'Cause
we want to go down the line and see what the next.
well, yeah,
one's
we're going to see, but I'm going to fix this one first and then see if we return back to form or not. That's looking pretty tight. We'll just drag you out. Oops, sorry, wrong deal. And then let's see here. We'll go back to here. Sometimes the flams just shake it. Yeah,
Yeah.
back to fine. So that flam went wild. So that's a good reason to commit and check her out, you know. So if I want to bring that flam in to launch into the chorus, I just do that. We just go ahead and turn this back on. We don't need those breakpoints. We can heal those. Why did that one not heal? Doesn't like that one. Maybe it's not. Oops. Maybe it's not all the way dragged, even though it looks like it is. Oh, it's because I moved it. It can't heal it because it is
right.
different now. See if we can get anything out of this kit mic. I don't remember what it was on, what we had on it at this point, but let's get something just kind of crunchy and weird out of this. This is the crotch mic or the kit mic. You've seen us do some videos about this. Kind of sick. Often I like to take this kit mic and just make it like kind of wildly aggressive and then kind of tuck it in. So let's solo it and see how nasty it is right now. We'll just go to second verse. Right, so that's what it was, and then I'll turn all these plugs back on. Pretty nasty. So now we'll turn them off and we'll just kind of feather them in. You see kind of how that can add a little undercurrent that can be kind of cool. Can add a little length, a little length to the notes instead. Just kind of, again, it just, I don't know, it's super aggressive on its own, but then especially once you put all these guitars and bass back in here, it just kind of helps the drums. It's like it's interesting the way these things kind of compound together. You can get the drum sounding what you think is pretty cool, pretty aggressive or whatever, and then as soon as you turn on bass and guitars, it's like all the air just gets sucked out of the drums because it's got to compete with all this stuff now. So sometimes, like, your drum sound on its own, you turn all the music off, you'd be like, oh, whoa, that's pretty, this is pumping or it's aggressive or whatever it is. But you turn all the music back on, sometimes it just kind of like, it sounds normal again. It's like you got to overinflate it so it can compete with, what's usually, especially in rock music anyway, there's a wall of guitars. There's a big loud bass. There's like a lot of shit going on all the time, kind of. Get these toms doing something. This is a perfect section to work on because they are doing their thing. I'm going to take this baby out of quick punch. We're going to put it in loop and we are going to tweak these toms. I think that there's automation on these two. We're just going to go ahead and look at that now. I'm pretty sure there's some volume automation. Like I said, I mixed this, or didn't mix it, but I kind of made a rough as I was going. So I did kind of do some automating. I did some things. Yeah, there's some automation on these end hits, but let's just get into this section for a little bit. Get these toms EQ'd and sounding right. Both of these are probably a candidate for kind of one of my favorite drum things, which is the Saturn plugin. It just kind of makes stuff happen. Like kind of almost more so than an EQ even can. Let's just start with this rack. Gotcha. I was like, my loop's kind of wimpy. Good starting point.
What's just while I think about this and sort of like not on any topic we've been looking at, but what are your meters set to? Since we were talking
I believe
about
it's
it the
Pro
other
Tools
day.
Classic for me. Yep.
Yep, okay.
Pro Tools Classic on the tracks.
I was just
The
thinking about it 'cause we were
Master, I
talking
do
about it the other day.
linear. I don't know. I went through and thought about this one day and then really haven't thought about it since. Yeah, basically Pro Tools Classic.
Gotcha.
Flowers is rocking digital VU. I remember that, right?
Yeah, that's what I have it on.
So let's just because, right? Let's
Watch the
pick a
signals
section.
all like change.
They will.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So let's just look at just a snare drum. Let's see. This is how it was with Pro Tools Classic metering. Very consistently hitting basically -6. Now, digital VU. Those look pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Just a different, just
we've
a different
seen
thing.
it been
We've seen it
wildly
be,
different.
yeah, exactly. Today it looks the same. You get a different scale. I don't know. I'm used to this scale for
Gotcha.
whatever reason. Yeah,
The
so
vocal going.
we just toggled the master bus. I do have this. I have a couple different limiters cranking right now, so you get a lot of gain without it. But yeah, feeling pretty good thus far. We got everything in. I didn't turn the hat mic on. I don't really feel like I need to. I got kind of a lot of stuff happening already with the drums. Nothing parallel on the drums yet. We may experiment with a little bit of that. In fact, sometimes what I'll do, and I'm going to just do it right now, I'm going to create another bus.
I love the old kick snare parallel deal.
It's funny, I used to do like my drum bus and very little on that, and then a parallel bus and a ton of shit on that.
Yeah.
I've kind of started doing a different thing lately, which is like, so we've kind of got a drum sound. It's pretty cool already, just one fader. There's 4 plugins on that fader, so pretty cooked already. So now I'll do a drums parallel. You can choose, there's a zillion different ways to choose what you're going to send to this, whatever. I'm going to do it exactly the same. So it's going to be bus 1 and 2 again. So now everything that goes to this bus also goes to this bus, but there's currently no plugins on it. I'm going to send it right out all drums, which goes to kind of my master matrix. We've talked about that before. I could show it again. And now I'm going to turn it down. Sometimes I'll just now that I have a cooked sound, I'll feather this fader in with nothing on it. Yep,
natural
and just
sound.
see what happens. So same deal. Verse 2. Sometimes this can be like phase issues. We're going to find out. There's nothing
going.
coming to it. I'm confused.
I'm also confused.
Oh, because I made an audio track and
and
not
not an aux
Yep,
track.
because
Dude,
I am
if
a
I had a nickel for
clown.
every time I did that,
I do
I'd
that.
have at least a couple bucks.
I do that once in a while. There you go. Nobody's perfect. Definitely not me.
How did nobody in the chat catch that? Sleeping on it.
What's going on in the chat
That was just a
tonight?
test.
Not a lot. That's all right.
That was just a test for y'all.
All right, so we're going to do an
You failed.
aux input this time. Drums parallel. Same deal. Bus 1 and 2. I got a lot of buses set up in this routing situation, so I got to scroll. But luckily they're broken into submenus, which is good. Bang. Okay, so turn this off. kind of adds a little
Yeah.
clarity. We'll turn the cooked bus off. So it's just adding, I mean, there is there's plenty of compression on the individual tracks, but it's adding.
That's
kind
going
of
to
an,
both of them anyway.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you kind of get this combo. So we go down to the master matrix here. Everything lands here, ultimately. Sometimes I'll throw yet another something on here. Nothing over here right now, but so let's kill the music. So we can A-B what's just adding literally a parallel fader of all drums without any cooking on the fader, no plugs, no nothing.
For sure.
Breathe a little more, brings a little realism in. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I used to kind of have a one fader, and then my parallel fader would have all this extra crunch and all. And then at some point, I just changed that. I was like, what if the parallel fader is just kind of like the natural drum set again against all this stuff that I've done? I don't know. Seems like it's working right now. We're going to leave it. Drums are getting loud now.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
Talking about this.
Bum, bum, ba, bam. Thinking I'm probably I'm probably
That makes me think of is what the Owen Wilson who's like, wow, wow.
I'm thinking I'm probably not going to end up using this hi-hat mic on this song. There's plenty of hi-hat. So hide and make an act.
Just the nature of the hi-hats, man.
Yeah, right. They're kind of always everywhere. I don't know. Was it the 16s? I don't think so. I think I
No,
used your
it was the
They sound too
14s.
crisp.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
those are your K-hats. So we're getting somewhere. I think I'll just at this point turn the vocal bus on. Got to get some vocals back in this bad boy sooner or later, and just kind of see what happens. I like starting at verse 2 right now. It's a good place. A lot of momentum. So I literally just had something for tracking. I do this all the time. Vox cheese. And we went down and dirty. I use this for tracking a lot just because it's like vocalist wants a sound. Cool. Throw this on a Augs. What do you want? A little delay, a little verb, a little whatever. And often I continue to use it. This thing is useful, man.
When it comes to the creative process, especially, it's like just get something and keep going.
Right. This is a quick you want a quick vocal sound? Bang. You just you go back and find something better later or whatever, but this thing works, and often I'll leave it in there. So vocals, holy Jesus, we got a lot going on. That's all right. These are kind of sectioned up a bunch of different ways, right? The choruses are their own thing. Verses are kind of their own thing. We got low and high in the verses. So let's just get, again, I'm going to start with verse 2. I can always trim back on the intro or figure out how to get the choruses working. I'm going to turn off things that I don't need. Verse 2 also has a middle harmony. I'm going to have to remember that. I'm going to bring him up here into our kind of verse land. And then these are all chorus harmonies, and not totally sure what these guys are yet. We'll find out when we get there. We don't need them yet, but I'm going to try to get these lead vocals doing something. Oh, chorus vocals are bust. That's good. I didn't need to necessarily do that, but whatever. So We got high vocal. We got I believe I just did low and high octave, and then the second verse has a middle. I'm gonna mute the middle. I'm gonna get the low and high working. Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart attack. Skipping beats, forgetting words to song. Yeah, you got me, really rocked me, turn my insides out. Now the real need. Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart attack. Skipping beats, forgetting words to song. Yeah, you got me, really rocked me, turn my insides out. Now the real me doesn't feel me when the medicine runs out. I want to make this kind of even wider sounding than it is. So the old classic, I give him credit every time, the Eric Valentine move. I go to my delay, which is kind of set up to just be an automatic widener.
It's the mod delay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We know. And I already have a micro shift on there, so it's already getting some stereo. That now it's even more stereo, so it should. We'll solo this quick, show you what's happening here. Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Also, oh yeah, we got Melodyne on these too. Not afraid to tune myself, especially when I'm not singing much. We'll talk about what Melodyne is for the people that don't know someday. Probably not today. But basically, it's a tuning program. Take a singer that's kind of in tune and make them really in tune. Take a singer that's way out of tune and make them really in tune. You can kind of do whatever you want. I try not to go too crazy on it. You can hear it for sure, especially like the more heavy-handed you get or whatever. But, you know, again, I'm not singing often, and I'm, not too proud to tune it or to tell you that I tuned it. Even great singers get tuned these days. A lot of people overuse the thing. I use it like a tool. I use it when I need it. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart attack. Skipping beats, forgetting words to song. Yeah, you got me, really rocked me, turn my insides out. Now the real me doesn't feel me when the medicine. Let's get that middle harmony in there too. Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart attack. Skipping beats, forgetting words to song. Yeah, you got me, really rocked. That guitar, man. That guitar would take half the episode away, just waiting for that. I feel like my lead vocal, while I do have the Vox Cheese on there, and that's all good, and I just, he's just kind of really pretty low in there right now, but I want something on that. Probably some type of delay. I don't know. It's just the high octave one. It needs a little spice. So, vocal delay, and then, we'll go fish. We got a handful of different delays. I like different things. Echo Boy's always great. H delay is always great. I tend to just lean towards Echo Boy for some reason. So just because I said that, I'm going to use H delay today. Super good plugin. Really dig it. Analog knob. No. Just break the thing off, on, off. It's just a noisemaker. Literally all it is. I suppose I need to actually assign this somewhere to go. So this also goes out my all vocal bus, so I can keep it all together. We'll give this an input bus. The other one is 7 and 8, so we'll just make this one 9, 10 right next door.
Love the H delay stuff. All the H comps.
Yeah, it's good. A lot, again, people want to hate on different things. Waves is blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, this thing's great. Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. I mean, just straight default, like I don't hate it, Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart. see here. I'm going to throw some of that same echo on this harmony.
You got me, really rock me to my inside.
Mark's throwing some love in the chat.
Which album were you listening to? Not this one.
No, the one with Brad pinned. We pinned.
Oh,
Through the
probably
Wire.
Through the Wire. Awesome, dude. Appreciate that. That makes two of us. I was listening today too. Probably literally makes two of us. So me and you, Mark, together we will listen to Attention. Let's get in somewhere. I can't believe it's 9:20 already.
Holy Christ!
Right? It moves, doesn't it?
That'll happen.
So let's go. We're going to work our way backwards and see what these two vocals are doing in the first verse, which has a lot less music.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold.
Low vocal, super loud now because I did some stuff to it. I will say this high-low thing, very influenced by, so JT, myself, the journeyman I am, I've played in a handful of bands over the years, one of which was a great, great band from Los Angeles called The Jealous Sound. I don't know if you picked up on any of that, Brad, but I feel like this high-low thing is definitely like a nod to the Blair vocal thing.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold is coming from inside of me. Sometimes it takes letting me leave. Just empty space where my heart used to be.
So that delay that we put on the high octave vocal is cool, but in the intro, when there's a lot less going on, seems like it's a little hot. So I'm going to turn that delay down for the beginning here.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold is coming from inside of me. Sometimes it takes letting me leave. Just empty space where my heart used to be. Did you shake me? Did you break me? Finally make me see what I got now. Things a lot now. Looks a lot like me.
Ah, that's what these are. These are little extra lines for these. Ooh, didn't put a single plug-in on these. There you go.
Now looks a lot like me. Now looks a lot like me. Now looks a lot like me.
Oh, and this is on. I was like, hey, who's talking? All right, Dunbar's leaving, so we can finally talk, Brad.
Man, I've been waiting so long.
You guys. Let me tell you about Dunbar.
You mentioned that Jealous Sound thing, though. The song that came to mind when you mentioned that, though, is This Is Where It Starts.
One of my favorites. Only on the deluxe version, pulled from the album, right?
That's a good question.
I don't think it's on the proper album. I think it's
I'll
only on
double
the
check when I
deluxe
get home.
version.
I've got the
Or
record.
The version is different. The chorus is literally different
Oh,
on the
could
deluxe.
be.
Something happened, but yeah, that's a great tune. Jealous Sound, great band. I kind of toured for the last record. Nate Mendel, I believe it's Mendel. I always said Mendel, but I've heard Mendel lately. Nate from Foo Fighters played bass on the album, and I did the touring. Kind of a weird thing, but
You're in the picture on Spotify.
I'm in the picture on Spotify, so I'm the dude. But yeah, that was, for anyone that knows me, and if you don't know, I'll tell you now, I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, have been for a long time. So I love the Jealous Sound way before Nate had any involvement, because they predate kind of knowing, they didn't know Nate when they started. They were a band for a long time, but it made it extra cool to be like, man, now I'm playing the Jealous Sound that I already love, and I'm kind of stepping in for Nate from Foo Fighters, like double awesome. So that was a really fun band. That record, what the hell is that record called, Brad? God damn it, I'm so bad with everything.
A Gentle Reminder.
A Gentle Reminder, right. Check it out. It's got wolves on the cover. Do I have the deluxe version in my garage? I don't. I don't think I have a ton of that stuff. I have the album somewhere. I wish I could share more music like that with you, but we are finding out on a weekly basis. I mean, it's fine on Facebook. We get away with kind of whatever we want on Facebook thus far, but we're getting hit with copyright claims on YouTube like crazy. For example, a few weeks back, we played a couple songs by Chuck Leah, who is an artist from down in Texas that worked with me and Evan. It was on when Evan was on. Chuck was in the chat, and I was like, "Hey, Chuck, can I play a tune?" He's like, "Yeah, that'd be great. Hey, which one would you like to play, Chuck?" He picked it. Blah blah blah. Cool. We played the tune, and then a week or so later, our episode got taken off of YouTube for a copyright claim, even though the artist is in the episode saying you can do it. Like, the algorithms don't know that or whatever, so we were talking about today, we're kind of surprised we haven't got yanked for our What's That Noise intro yet, because I mean, while it is not the Beastie Boys song, it is the Beastie Boys song. I did intentionally, for a couple different reasons, I dropped the key of that song a half step, and I'm convinced that's the reason why the algorithm hasn't grabbed us, is because while it's the same changes and the same melody, it's dropped down a half step. So it's got to be, I think it's got to be throwing it off. There you go. Brad just pinned A Gentle Reminder. Fantastic album. Blair's a great songwriter. Good dude. Bobby Penn is my brother from another mother. We're basically the same height.
Tallest band on the planet.
We were the tallest band on the planet for sure. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And again, it definitely influenced some of the vocal stuff that I did on this. Are the high-low vocals mixed to almost compete with each other in a good way, or does the low vocal support? It does make sense. They're kind of supposed to be pretty much neck and neck. I kind of wanted this kind of surreal layered thing, and we'll see. I think ultimately the high octave will take the front seat, but I want that low one, and this only happens in the verses. I want that low one to be pretty competitive. I like this kind of layered kind of thing. So yeah, they're going to be pretty neck and neck, I think.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold is coming from inside of me. Sometimes it takes letting me leave, just empty space where my heart used to be. Did you shake me? Did you break me? Finally make me see what I got now. Things a lot now. Looks a lot like me.
Thinking about a few things, thinking about some vocal throw, like some delay throws and stuff. Man, there's like, as much as no one in the world wants to watch it, it's like the real way to do this is like to do a freaking 10-hour stream where I mix a song from top to bottom. Because in the real world, for me or whatever, maybe not 10, but typically with a song, if a client sends me a song, I was just talking to a dude on the internet the other day. It's like, how does this work? Like if
Stranger?
that song, yeah, I was talking to a dude on the internet.
It's chat room.
He said
Speaking of AOL.
he has stuffed animals, candy, and a van with no door locks.
I know that guy.
Yeah, it was you, I think. It was Joe. I was texting with him. But a guy, I played both you guys that song, the song that Jonah's singing the chorus on. They're like, wow, that's rad. You know, I've been hitting him up like, yo, you told me you want me to mix this thing. Where is it at? And he's not quite done with it. But he was like, hey, he's like, I really want you to mix it. He's already basically said a couple different times, like, yeah, I want you to mix it. And he was like, hey, I suppose I should ask, like, what does that cost? You know, like, hey, yeah, good question. But
Tens of thousands.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Right.
So, but no. So I told him what the price is or whatever, and prices kind of vary, kind of don't. This doesn't really seem like the place to talk about that right now. But I basically was just like, he's like, oh, cool. So I'm like, well, here's the deal. It's kind of like I like to charge a flat rate. I essentially work on a song all day, or as long as it takes. But a full mix for me of a song that has like a decent handful of tracks or something that's in the neighborhood of this, I'll spend a full day on it, and that full day might be 6 hours or it might be 10 hours or whatever. But typically I'll charge a flat rate. With that flat rate, you get a full day, and then you get 2 sets of revisions as far as I'm concerned. 2 sets of notes. You get the first mix I did back, And most artists will go, man, it's, I like this, I like that. Maybe the vocal could be a little quieter here, maybe blah, 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 or hey, could you get that drum fill to pop? There's usually a couple notes. So we do the notes, send it back. Sometimes there's a couple more, like, hey, one last thing. Could you turn that up or whatever? So I do 2 sets of notes plus my day of mixing for a flat fee. If we go into basically, so you got your first mix 1. Set of notes would be mix 2. Second set of notes is mix 3. After mix 3, we go into revision 1. And now I'm charging you by the hour to do notes because I can't charge you a flat fee and then be making changes for the next week.
Evan Bakke.
No.
Tell me.
Gotta be.
Brett from Fuzzard. Should we take it?
Ooh, let's take it.
Live on the air.
I'll tell him. You're live on the stream, so don't say anything stupid.
Oh, yo.
It's podcast night. Come on, man. You should know better.
I'm happy to be tuned in.
Yeah. Well, you're obviously not tuned in because you're calling me.
I can't see anything.
No. Well, they can hear you.
What's up, everybody?
Do you have any pearls of wisdom, or can I call you in a half hour when I'm done?
I just hope whatever you're mixing sounds great.
Of course it does,
Call me in
dude.
a half hour.
Hope.
Yeah, of course it does.
I mean, have you met me?
Yeah, I know who you are.
That's right. All right, I'll call you when I'm done.
Thanks for making us sound great.
You
I'll
got
see you
it.
soon.
You got it. Bye.
Yeah.
I love that at the end.
That's Brett from Fuzzard, ladies. Oh, dude. Speaking of Evan Bakke, he did text me.
Of course, dude. Every Tuesday night, he's like, "Hey,
Let's
what's
check.
going on?"
Let's check
Same
and see
thing,
if he's
dude.
watching.
Same thing that's going on.
Oh yeah,
every
he's
Tuesday.
watching because he says you've got a motherfucking beard, brah. That's all the text says. Yeah, it's pandemic
What are we talking
style.
about? Revision, charging people.
Yeah. So
Millions upon
right. So it's a flat fee. You get the mix. You get 2 sets of notes or 2 sets of changes, and then we go into revision 1, and I'm doing notes. I said all that because what I was saying earlier is like, again, it's almost 9:30. It's interesting. Like, as much as I like to try to condense this thing down and get it done in a short period of time. I mean, we mixed for 2 hours the other night. We did a lot of chatting the other night. We're doing a little less chatting tonight. We're mixing, but I mean, ultimately, there's no way to like do it both and actually get it done. Like, I'm starting to think about, man, it'd be cool to automate some delay throws, this and that, and all great stuff to show you. And I'll keep chipping, but like,
I mean, we'd really have to do, if you wanted to do one song on the stream and really give it the same amount of time and attention that
it'd
you
be 4 or
generally give
5
it. Yeah, it'd be 4 or
episodes.
5 episodes.
Because I mean,
for sure.
that 4 or 5 episodes is 8 to 10 hours of work if I'm not chatting or answering questions or whatever. So,
Right.
and I mean, that would be boring for you guys to have to listen to this song for 5 episodes in a row.
And it's not to say that the mixes don't get those touches when you see them
Of
on
course.
the show. They just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
off. It's the off
It's
the air
just-
stuff.
yeah, and it's that balance of like, I want to engage you guys. If a question comes in, I love to answer it. Frankly, I enjoy that part more than the mixing part. Just when we're doing this, because for the other 6 days a week when you guys aren't watching, I'm still down here doing this, so I don't have to answer any questions, and I'm just zoning in. Diane's in for a track Saturday. We've been talking about it. It will happen in time. We were going to get together this Saturday, but some things popped up. Didn't get a chance to do that, but sooner or later we'll do a longer form one. We've been talking about there's Snack Saturday where we'll
Done a
do something
few.
small.
We've done a few. We did 1 or 2, right? We
Right.
did the one with Nick. We
There's
did a
gonna be
track
another one of those
Saturday. What
coming up.
track Saturday did we do? We track drums for a song.
Sam,
Was that
was
Sam
it?
tune?
Sam tune, right?
Yeah. We
right,
spent
which
a little
I-
bit longer.
Yep, and I hooked up with Sam a little bit today. We're working on a timeline to get that.
Yeah, that
completed
Sam
too, so
tune's
we'll
still going to
revisit
happen.
that.
He's been busy with stuff. He's down and hanging with
Yeah.
the Waco, Texas.
Yeah, Chip and
people
Joe
right now.
Gaines.
Chip and Joe. Yeah, he's remodeling houses. No.
Sam's like Texas famous now. FYI, don't back up and kill the dog.
Mm.
He's literally on your chair, laying on your
I don't
chair.
know why he feels the need to be right there.
Just gotta be close, bro.
I mean, we're buddies. He hasn't passed any gas tonight. I don't want to say. I don't.
Very thankful.
I didn't
for
even
it.
want to say it because it's like that's just Jinx City. It's gonna be like. any
Y'all
minute
don't
now.
even know this studio is airtight.
Yeah, we do have some windows open tonight, and it's been raining in Minneapolis today, so it's a little bit of humidity down here. I might have a little sweat on my brow. That's not the feverish mixing that I'm doing. That's just the nature of the temp tonight. We got a little candle in the background in case the dog does want to start stinking it up a little bit.
I was gonna say something about that because the vibe with the candle.
I
is
just thought,
quite
you know
nice.
what?
You can't. It's in the frame, but you're blocking
what-
it, so we don't. The microphone's in the way, bro. It's all right. It's all right. We know what a candle looks like.
You guys seen a candle before? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's like there's a zillion things I'd like to do, and I love to show you guys all that stuff, but it's tough to do in 2 hours. It's extra tough to do in 2 hours when I take 15 minutes to tell you how hard it is to do in 2 hours, which I just did. So with that, I suppose I should get back to work. Feel free to hit us with questions. I'm gonna keep tweaking away at these vocals.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold is coming from inside of me. Sometimes it takes letting me leave, just empty space where my heart used to be. Did you shake me? Did you break me? Finally make me see what I got now. Thanks a lot now. Looks a lot like me.
All right, so that's cool. It's getting somewhere. Second verse.
Thought about it on the drive back. Thought about it way too fucking long. Pumping through me like a heart attack. Skipping beats, forgetting words to songs. Yeah, you got me, really rocked me, turn my insides out. Now the real me doesn't feel me when the medicine runs out. When the medicine runs out.
All right, so that's getting somewhere. We got these two little joiners that hit just these two lines. I feel like these guys want reverb.
When the medicine runs out.
Again, talking about that Blair thing, like some of these stacks, these are really, I'm really should send Blair a couple dollars because I'm kind of just ripping off his whole vibes on some of the stuff.
When the medicine runs out.
Haven't put a single plug-in on those. Those are au naturel.
They're beautiful.
You know?
Absolutely beautiful.
Those are right here. I'm just going to go
When
ahead
do
and
you-
like stick a reverb right on these. And not,
When do you find time to like mix when you're, in between all the singing lessons you give and shit?
I won't say her name, but so I paid a woman in town. This is many years ago for vocal lessons.
Yeah.
And I took the first one and it was all right. And I took the second one and I was convinced that she didn't want to teach me about singing anymore. She wanted to teach me about something else.
Oh!
And I never went back for lesson 3 and 4.
I mean, probably a good plan.
I left like, oh my. Probably
Can
shouldn't
I
go
get that
there
number
anymore.
though? What do you?
Yeah. I'll
I'm
pass
trying
you
to
the
get-
number.
I'm
When
trying
that
to get
story
singing
started
lessons.
with, I paid a woman in town.
Yeah, I got more than I bargained for, or could have gotten more than I had bargained for. That was interesting. Yeah, I learned a little bit on the first lesson. I bet I would have learned a lot on that third lesson.
Yeah. I love that.
But I was scared to death, man. I ran.
I didn't really need a ride.
I didn't really. Need it. Yeah. That's an inside joke.
That's for us.
Got
That
to
ain't
stay
even for
inside.
y'all, yeah.
But man, that's a good joke.
When the
I'm just gonna verb these up. I want to put some verb on these. I'm probably gonna just put the same verb on both of them. and
Sound
make-
Toys
make-
got it going on, man.
I love the Sound Toys. Big, Sound Toys. Sound Toys is one of the main ones. Sound Toys, Plug-in Alliance, Fab Filter. Like I could make a record with just those 3.
Oh man.
If I had just those 3 bundles, I'd be all right.
When the medicine runs out.
That's really all I want. I just want.
All that, cut that woofy shit.
Yeah, there's some of that. There's literally no EQ on these either. So let's just de-woof. Speaking of Fab Filter,
Dude.
just grab him. This thing is infinitely powerful. I highly recommend anyone and everyone who mixes records in any DAW get this thing.
You can't
does.
watch a YouTube tutorial right now without somebody pulling up a Fab Filter product.
Yeah, this thing does everything. It's a great EQ. It's super surgical if you need it to be. It gives you a visual representation of what's going on. You can literally turn a keyboard on and get a note representation if you want to. It'd be tight if you could actually bing play a note.
Reference? Get a reference tone?
It does compression, multi-band compression, expansion. This thing is killer.
When the medicine runs out.
Like you can see, you know, what's nice sometimes. It's like you don't want to mix it with your eyes, but sometimes it's like, oh shit, there's a bunch of subby stuff down here I don't need. Like, especially if you're not lucky enough to be in a monitoring environment that's really can show you some of that stuff. Often a lot of new mixers or younger mixers suffer from, there's a lot of buildup down here on tracks, often unnecessary for whatever the source is, and that stuff sucks up a lot of room on the master bus. And people are like, man, why can't I get my mixes loud? It's like, well, there's all this subby shit everywhere that you can't even hear that's like eating up decibels. There's only so much room in the balloon before it pops, you know, so don't waste it on stuff you can't hear or feel, or like a bunch of sub on your hi-hat track. It's like, that's a waste, you know?
When the medicine runs.
So that's cleaning us up already. We copy that over. Maybe we'll put a little.
When the medicine runs out. When the medicine runs.
So that thins them out. Let's just kill both these, show you where we were.
When the medicine runs out.
Back in. Kind of like some of that bottom. I'm going to chill this out just a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of this bottom back. And I'm going to copy that over so they are the same. And then those are hard panned. Those are a pair. They only appear right there, and then they do a quick pop in right before on the verse, kind of the same way on the earlier verse. So let's just blend those in on the second verse.
When the medicine runs out. When the medicine runs out.
Once again, there's some automation because I was just running and gunning when I made this demo. We're going to turn these guys up a little bit. Here's another pro tip. So in Pro Tools anyway, especially if you're in like kind of a small, like where are we at? We're literally in small. You can make this big, and then your volume adjustments become a lot more fine. But I like to kind of keep things more or less small. So if I just grab this is my volume automation line. If I just grab this right now and just bump the mouse 2 dB right away, that's a pretty big move. So undo that. So same thing, grab it, hold the Apple key, and now you got fine movement. So I can do, that's a half a dB, and I've literally walked it up 0.1 dB at a time. I find myself doing this a lot because 2 dB is a big move.
Or do this when I'm like, especially in an effort to stay in the edit window instead of going to the mix window.
I do every once in a while. I'll pop over here to see something, but I more and more, like as you guys can see, I've got all the tabs over here now. So it's like there really is. Chris Testa many years ago was the first one to be like,
why
this window is pretty much unnecessary. I mean, it's funny though. I mean, I grew up where like I had a console, so this is a familiar window. But all of these moves are all here. Plus, you can see what audio is where. It's like you're looking at the tape machine and the console at the same time, essentially. So I do my best to stay out of that window, but I find myself in here all the time. Often I'll do like if I'm automating this vocal, sometimes I'll go in here because I can just see it really well. I mean, I can just do this, and then it's like I still have just that vocal fader. I could automate that one. But sometimes I like to see it, because it's like, okay, these guitars, I like to just kind of get a kind of a bird's eye view of the whole desk, if there's, desk console or whatever, just to see the automation. But anyway, so yeah, we turn these backgrounds up a little bit.
When the medicine runs out.
I can live with that. Everything's kind of running away on me just a little bit volume-wise at the moment. The vocals might be a little hot, but that's all right. So we've got our verse, vocal, high and low, which are these two in there. I'm going to put these back to small. Sometimes this is another thing I'll do just to kind of like keep inventory on stuff. It's like, okay, I'm working on these three right now. I might crank them up to large. And then as soon, so I can see them or whatever, and they stand out as they're bigger than the rest. And it's like, okay, I've kind of done what I need to do to those. Put them back to small.
What is if you select a track, is it the E key that blows it up or what? I use that a lot.
Oh yeah, you can do it that way too.
Yep, I'll get like
Go to
full screen.
fill
If you just
screen,
want to see
fit to
something for a
screen, I
minute,
believe.
yep, I hit that and back.
So we got to get the chorus lead vocals. This is just a main and a double. Literally just sing the same thing twice for thickening. This is, again, I know that we have viewers of all kind of different skill sets. Some of which some of you guys don't do this at all. But so I, sometimes while I might be explaining something that's obvious to you guys who've been making records for a while, keep in mind not everyone knows that. So main vocal, double vocal, my voice singing the same thing twice. This is very common. It's just kind of a way to thicken it up. A lot of people do more, 2 or 3, maybe 2 vocals singing together in the verse and maybe 4 in the chorus or whatever. It just thickens up the singer and gives it a little more power. I keep the harmonies off. I'll just turn 1 on. So this is the chorus with 1 voice. Now I'll turn on the double. So different performance, same notes, same everything. I sang it myself. But I sang it's 2 different performances, not like just copied down or whatever. 3 is great. Oh yeah, Brett likes, the more the merrier. Brett Petrusic's like, can we double it? Now that we've doubled it, can we triple it? He wants, me and Brett fight about this all the time. I'm like, if your 1 vocal is awesome, it should not need a second one. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes that's me being lazy. So now we've got a second performance. I literally, just to get them, it's funny, talk about a small move. Just to get them some separation, instead of having these both go right down the middle, I literally panned them 1 to left and right. So they're not quite in the center. They're not far. I could go to 100, and then that's hard left, hard right. This is 1. This is barely noticeable, but it does pull them out of the center. Your boy's so tight you can't even tell it's a double because I'm just tight like that. I preach keep it tight, and I live by those rules. You know what I'm talking about. This brought the automation with it. I don't want that. This song is great. Thanks, Al. Could have been you playing on this thing if you'd have joined my band 10 years ago, but no. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Al. I appreciate it. I talked about it a little bit last week, so I kind of had not really, other than a little bit of putzing would be the best way to put it. I really have not sat down with the intent to really write a song kind of since Attention stopped being a band or whatever. I really felt like if I didn't have a reason, I just didn't have a reason. I kind of lost, I don't lose the desire to do it, but it was kind of man, no band, no machine. That was it for so long that I don't know. I just didn't do it for a while. And then Dave from Attention, as we kind of started talking about doing a little recording together and kind of revisiting some old stuff, he was like, dude, you should write a new song. And I kind of had to question myself. It was oh man, well, I've been for however many years now saying without a reason, I don't write songs. Dave just gave me a reason. So I really appreciated that, A. And then B, I really took it as a challenge. Okay, well, I better put my money where my mouth is, because I've been saying yo, I'll write a song if there's a reason. Dave asked for one. Next thing you know, I'm in the lab with the pen and the pad getting it done. And I explained last week, I was pretty hard on myself. I was okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give myself 24 hours to write and make this demo. I don't want to get in the weeds. I don't want to overthink forever. Paralysis from analysis, as they say. I'm not interested. I wanted to get something on tape immediately and get the lyrics and done. And I kind of went out of my way to keep things simple. I didn't try to play a lot of drum fills. I didn't try to do too many guitar overdubs, because theoretically this may, or is, or whatever, a demo, and then either Attention or whoever, me again, maybe there'll be a proper version sometime, but I didn't want to put my thumbprint kind of so deep into it that the other guys didn't have, room to put their thumbprint on. So I tried to do it down and dirty, and I'm glad you like it. I appreciate that. I frankly, I'm really happy with it. It was kind of little bit scary to be like, okay, can I do it? How's it going to be? Is it going to suck? Is it whatever? But I'm pretty happy with it, you know, for the first swing of the bat, you know, in the park triple. You know, I don't know, maybe double, maybe in the park double, you know, not a homer, but hey, man, you know, got to start somewhere. So, all right, back to the chorus. Boom. Make the double just a little more kind of filtered sounding, a little more mid-range, just so it kind of cuts. And then I got this guy, which is a stack of chorus harmonies. They're grouped. They sound like this. Hold on tight. It's gonna be one long night. Hold on tight. It's going real airy, doing a thing. Let's put some love on these. You know I want that CLA Epic. Speaking of CLA and Waves plugins that everybody wants to poo-poo on, I'll use them. I use them because I like them. The CLA Epic is great.
Who's fighting on the Epic? I'll fight them.
I don't know if anyone's
hating?
really fighting on Epic because it's new, but people are definitely fighting on all the
I
other
know.
ones.
Everybody always shits on Waves. Something gets popular and used by a lot of people, everybody loves to come shit on. Just look at the startup screen for Epic and come tell me.
Yeah, tell me
Just
this isn't tight.
Pow! Look at that.
You know? It's like Stranger Things just came
It
on.
is like Stranger Things just came on. First season, too, bro.
Hold on.
I mean, right away, dude. It's like you just open it up. It's got a plate. It's got a little tape on it. It's great. Right away. Let's mute that.
Hold on tight. It's gonna be one long night. Hold on tight.
Epic is Epic the horsepower machine.
Hold on tight. It's gonna be one long night. Hold on tight. It's gonna be one long night.
All right, doing a thing. What else do we got? These guys are in. There's a couple little just cross lines here. This one only appears once. What is this little? Oh, hello. This is just a little quick harmony. I think I remember.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed time.
Pitchy one too. Needs a little tuning. Maybe I should show you guys how Melodyne works real quick. We could. Should we? Nah.
Diane's head is going to explode. Diane's not ready for it. She's ready.
She's ready.
Born ready.
I mean, we could do it because I'm just hearing that this is pitchy. I probably literally did this.
I mean,
one
there's
time.
6 notes in there. Why not?
Yeah.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed.
It was also way high for me that day, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna solo that and do it right now.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed time. If we bust our
Last note's out of tune. You know, I just hear it.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed time.
It's really just right here. So here's a good opportunity to just automate around it. You know, it's like when you eat a piece of fruit, you cut around the bad stuff. Sometimes you got to cut some of the bad stuff out of the vocal. I've just fallen flat on this last note. I'll be the first to admit it. So in real time, I'm just going to kind of fade that baby down a little bit.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed time. If we
I can do better. There you go. If it's bad, tuck it in.
You and me, we've been running on borrowed time. If we press our luck
And one more. All right, these had to cross because I was trying to scream. First successful, in my opinion, rock scream. We'll get to it. I've never been good at screaming. I love it when dudes can really get it and it really sounds great. Going back to Dave Grohl, that dude could scream his balls off for fucking 4 hours. Have you never heard of him? All right, so we almost have all of our vocals at least kind of in there. There's just this bridge, which is kind of this little mellow spot. Let's turn him on. Aha.
JT Bridge.
And before we get to that, oh man, I'm just predictable. You hear these guys back here? Oh no, JT Bridge. I was kidding. It's all good. I got a sound. I'll take it. So you got to have something. So speaking of the bridge, we got this kind of like marching snare thing. I know there's a couple things that I would like to do. I'll probably crank up the kitchen mic or the hall mic and really get some distance. I also do not want the sample in this section. So let's see how this part kind of transitions. We probably will come in right there with it. So we're going to kill the sample for the entire, sorry to slap the mic. Hope that didn't pop your earballs off. I'll show you why. There's no way it would properly track some of the ghost notes. There's a lot going on. But so without the sample, I'll just give you that section. Let me just turn that vocal off that we haven't actually looked at yet. And actually, I want that first hit. Exactly. So this section goes like, the drum vibe. And here, we'll just really isolate. We'll zone in. Kill the music for a second. And just drums in this bridge. Kind of doing this march thing. A, the sensitivity is not lined up. B, the sample just starts to get cheesy when you get intricate. But if I were to leave that sample as it was committed in here, it would be lame and it would sound like this. Yeah, I just left out all the ghost notes and hit the main ones other than this. Whatever.
That's not to say that it sounds good, but like
it's not horrible.
Yeah, with the way
it could fly, but we're gonna get rid of it because I know I want to just get rid of it. And then again, before I do hit that vocal, I know that I want the drum sound to kind of shift in that section. This section just is a big shift. I'll probably go to the hall mic, which is our most distant mic, and probably just really juice it in this section. I'm turning the music back on so I got context. I like it. Instead of dry, I want that section to be kind of roomy. This vocal that joins in here should also be pretty roomy or kind of, a little spacey.
Group muted.
Forgot the group. Let's try like a big delay. Let's try like a whole note delay or something. Just see if it's cool. I don't know. It probably will be too much. Probably should just let the voice do the thing. But let's just screw around with this for just a second here. Anytime. There you go.
You have to automate it or whatever.
I want
It'd
it-
be cool on like the last part of each phrase.
I
or
want it even
something.
further than a whole note, which this one just won't give me, huh? I could do this, though. I could cheat it. What's half of 166? I'm terrible with
83.
math. 83. So we're just going to tell this. I just do that, right?
Yeah, take it out of sync.
We're just going to tell this that it's 83 because that's going to expand our delay options. So now, now the delay essentially will go twice as long, which is handy. And that's kind of what I was thinking. And maybe just kind of this just kind of fades away. This won't be nearly this loud, but I kind of like this idea of this long delay situation. I don't like it. I don't like what's happening. There we go. I'm looking for subtle. That's pretty subtle when it's in there. It's obviously rocking forever, so we can go ahead and turn some of the feedback down. It's a starting point. So quickly, because it's already 10:03, man. We've kind of made it. I'm gonna just quickly get this last fader that's not on. Again, we're not finished. There's plenty to do, but we almost have everything on. There's just a quick little guitar solo. I hesitate to call it a solo because I just kind of play melodies. I'm not a shredder. I leave that to Brett. Brett can shred. I pick a melody and kind of stick to it because that's my skill level, frankly. But yeah, so I'm gonna just quick fire this on, and then I may as well just, because you've been kind enough to stick with us the whole night, even though we're not done, I'm gonna play this thing top to bottom as it stands, and then we'll call it a night here. But let me just quick get this guy in here. Something solo safe somewhere with that vocal. Whatever. We'll worry about it later. Just for the heck of it, let's try our old Valentine special and just see if we want this wide. Doesn't have to be all the way wide. We can pull the pan knobs in, but let's just see. I like it. Again, sometimes I just like going stereo. So yeah, we're not all the way done, but you know, at this point, I typically like to kind of get it going. We've done some automation as we go, but I kind of try to like get all the pieces more or less working, and then I just really go in, automate, move faders around, bring up bits here and there, bring them down here and there, and you know, while I'm doing that, I'll find more EQing that I probably want to tweak, or there's always more to do. I, at some point, would probably go in and start looking at these buses and go like, yeah, maybe the vocal does want a little final limiter. Like, I don't know, just real quickly, we'll just audition a little limiter. We'll put the chorus on. And we'll see if we want some of that before we do this final playback.
Hold on tight. It's gonna be one long night. You and me, we've been running on borrowed time. If we press our luck and play our cards just right, should I just enough? We should make it through tonight.
Sometimes I like to just like, hello echoes and whatnots. Especially with vocals, like sometimes I just want to see this thing flicker just barely once in a while. It's literally just shaving off peaks. It's kind of just holding things nice and tight. Keep it tight, you know. That's what we say. That's what we like around here. So yeah, I'll give you, you know, may as well give you the whole tune, top to bottom. Like I said, it's you know, in my world right now where this sits, maybe it's 70% done. I would probably continue to fine tune it another 30%-ish, or what, you know, whatever that means to you or me, but it's close, you know. Yeah, I think we'll do it. We'll play the tune top to bottom. We'll come back. We'll say goodbye. We playing the intro as the outro? I think we like that, right?
Yeah,
At
we
this
gotta
point?
we gotta make it outro-y, but for now.
Ollie's starting to wag his tail and wiggle his collar around. He knows it's 10 o'clock. That means time to go outside for him. He likes that. But yeah, so I'll give you the tune as it stands now that we've got all the elements in there. I'm sure even as I listen to this, I will hear things that I'm like, oh shit, I need to turn that down or up or whatever. But, you know, that's how we do it. Just checking the chat. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brett. Brett's always been very supportive. It's like I help him out with his music so much. He damn sure can't be like, your new song sucks, dude.
He actually just texted me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the chat, he loves it, right? In real life, he's like, dude, you heard Tapero's new shit?
Would that be something if he texted me and was like, have you heard this song?
Dude, this thing, wow. Right. This thing is rough with 3 Fs. Here we go. So from the top.
Shiver shake, but there's no breeze. It's like this cold is coming from inside of me. Sometimes it takes letting me leave, just empty space where my heart used to be. Did you shake me? Did you break me? Finally make me see what I got now. Things a lot now, looks a lot like me. Hold on
So there you go. Not bad. We were just checking it out in these headphones that John Fields hates. It sounded all right in there. Another thing, it's like you guys don't tell. It's often I work loud, especially when I'm working on like drums and things with low end. But the real move, especially when you're checking your mix, is to kind of listen pretty quietly. All the big mixers are really listen real quiet, automating quietly, not letting everything sounds cool when it's cranked up. If you got impact and definition and clarity at a low level, it should just stay together as you crank it up. If you have it sounding awesome, only listening loud, you turn it down, it usually falls apart and things poke out. Sounds crazy. So there you go. That is like I said, that's called When the Medicine Runs Out. It's kind of a demo by me. I'm playing everything, singing it, writing it, doing the thing, trying to, getting back in the ring. That was an exhibition fight. Maybe I'll get out there and swing 10 rounds someday with somebody, but I'm enjoying not being the front man, and I'm very lucky to play behind kind of one of my favorite front men of all time. Not even kind of, just period. So I'm comfortable. It's funny. Like I think I can say. I'm sure I could say it. Like Dave has said in the past. Like I don't know how I feel about both Jeremy and Ryan being like in my not. I don't know. I don't know exactly how he put it, but like the idea that both me and Ryan have been frontman in the past. Usually, sometimes those dudes are like, you know what? I think I should be the front man, blah, blah, blah. But like in this case, and we could tell Dave as much as, and I think he knows too, but it's like, dude, you're in no danger. Me and Ryan respect the hell out of what you do. Like, believe me, we're not secretly going like, I could do it better. We know damn sure we can't do it better. Dave's the dude. We're happy as hell to be, to be playing his music and learning from him, frankly. It's funny. I think it was not only Brett, but my buddy KJ. I sent KJ this tune, and he was like, I hear some of the Perner rubbing off on you. I don't necessarily hear it, but he does, so I believe it's real. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching us again tonight. We're going to be back next week, as far as I know, right? Anyone got any rubs? You're out of. There's a week coming up that you're unavailable.
Yeah, the Tuesday the 20th.
What is next Tuesday?
7 days from today.
Yeah,
13th.
13th.
Yeah.
I got a birthday coming up too.
Oh yeah.
15th. Me and Dave have birthdays coming up. So.
Dude, everybody. It
I
seems
got
like
one coming
y'all.
up too. 17th.
September is normally the crazy one, which is where I fall.
Brad,
but y'all.
yeah, you're April too. Right?
17th.
Dude, you
Yep.
April, Jake,
so dude, we're
Corey.
literally me, you, and Dave are just ding, ding, ding,
Yep.
right in a row. That's
Yep.
crazy. We're about to have a triple threat birthday party.
Let's do it.
Corona party. Like I'll buy Corona. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Thanks. Oh, hang on. We got one last. What are your pop punk influences?
How much time you got?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny to me. I think of pop punk as like maybe the class after my influences. That's probably not totally true, but you know what I
I
mean?
feel like that's probably
Yeah.
right
A
though. Like
a
you
little
were
bit.
you were part of that class of influence. you
Yeah,
know
like
what I mean?
kinda. Yeah, kinda. I mean, I kind of came up just I'm probably influenced by the stuff that maybe your favorite pop punk bands are influenced by. I'm way more influenced by late '80s, early '90s music. I mean, just because that's when I was, that golden age or whatever. The music that you're learning around then is, I think when you're whatever it is, 10 through maybe 20, like I don't think it's pretty hard once you get past that age to ever have new music impact you the way music did. And those are like such formative years. Like if you fall in love with records, then they hold a special place in your heart kind of no matter what. Sometimes I go back and listen to records that I loved in 1992, and I'm like, holy crap, that sounds terrible or whatever. But it doesn't matter because it's still like, you connected to that time in your life or whatever. Like I listened to the first two Sunny Day Real Estate records. My friend Tim burned them on a cassette for me, one on one side, one on the other side. one of the first cars I had a Blaupunkt pull-out, not detachable face pull-out. Like you pull the
Whole
whole
stereo.
goddamn
Yeah.
radio out of it. You have this thing. Like some dudes would like carry the whole radio. But yeah, I had a cassette deck, and I like for an entire summer it was like side A would play, and that record would finish, and then the auto reverse thing where it starts playing the other side. And like I just listened to Sunny Day Real Estate for an entire summer, Diary and LP2, just over and over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, there you go. Mark knows what's up. I think me and Mark are about the same age. Mark said you'll be 40 this year. I'm going to be 42 in a couple weeks. So, yeah.
You remember that old Chicago Flyers Instagram that I was telling you about? While we were here tonight, one popped up that is November 98, and Animal Chin is actually on it.
There you go. Who are we playing with?
You were playing with... Oh, man. It's such small
I'm hoping
time.
it's something
I'll
cool.
find it, but like...
Alkaline Trio. 'Cause
Well-
we definitely played the Fireside with the trio.
But that's the thing. So that month, also on this flyer is a show that is Promise Ring, Jets to Brazil, and Alkaline Trio.
There you go. That's a gig.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
And then
I grew up loving the Promise Ring. Promise Ring was I grew up in Milwaukee, so Promise Ring was a huge one for me.
Check out-
98.
check out this show. Elliot Knapsack at the Drive-In.
Elliot headlining
Yeah,
at the drive-in opening.
crazy.
The first and only time I saw Knapsack was Knapsack at the drive-in at the Globe East in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Knapsack was awesome. You know, they played all of at the drive-in's equipment. I thought that was interesting. Like they obviously just like came in and didn't like bring anything. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, the 90s kind of whatever you call it, first wave emo or whatever. That was a big thing for me. Pop punk. I don't know. When I think of pop punk, I think of like
I think that's my world, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think of just a couple years after the fact. I mean, for those who don't know, and just quickly, it's like. So I like left high school in 1997 and went on the road, and I kind of feel like I still haven't come home. Like I've just lived on the road since '97. So like I was kind of, I don't know. I just quickly jumped out there and started like again. Brad just mentioned 1998. Like kind of the first real touring band I was in was a band called Animal Chin, and like yeah, we hit the road in '97. We were just always gone. So like. I was just kind of, when pop punk was rolling around, I was out making my own kind of music. We kind of, if anything, Animal Chin was kind of a pop punk band. We were.
That's what I was saying. Between like Animal Chin, Stereo, like even if you roll back through all the bands of Gratitude and Attention,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that stuff, man, like that kind of all was its own variety of
Right, like
of
the
pop
Stereo
punk
toured with what would be considered pop punk bands. Like we toured with Newfound Glory early on, and I remember like the first time we met Newfound Glory, they came up to us and they were like, "Man, what's it like to be in a big band?" And then woo, did those tables turn quickly, and they went platinum or whatever, and we went to Gainesville, whatever, but yeah, whatever. With all that, I don't know. We'll get you out of here. It's 20 minutes over, and we can't. I don't know. 2 hours is burning by fast these days, but I appreciate everyone hanging out as always. It's great to have some new people. Our familiar friends from every week. You know who you are. We love having you here. I got no idea what's on deck for next week, but we'll come up with something good for you. And until then, I encourage you strongly to keep it tight.